It is Feedback Friday, and it is our opportunity to come together after a long week, pause, reflect, and really think about the power of feedback. For those of you who are meeting for the first time, my name is Dr. Shanita Williams. I consider myself a feedback enthusiast because I believe that feedback truly is the key to unlocking and unleashing your potential. So I'm so excited to have a moment with you guys today to do a very quick live on another tip that I think is underutilized when it comes to the feedback space. Now, one thing I do want to do a quick plug for, ta-da! My book, Feedback Mentality, is officially out in stores. You can get it on Amazon right now, which is really exciting for me. Again, I had to work through a lot of personal feedback in order to put my voice in print, and I'm just so excited to have this book available and out and going to put it into the world. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I actually have this book in print now, and my personal goal, my personal dream is finally coming to life. So that is the power of feedback manifested right there in that book. So why are we here this week? What are we hoping to achieve? Today, I wanted to give you guys a quick tip that actually was inspired by Dr. Walker, one of our Instagram followers who is quite amazing herself. And she posed a question. She sent me a question after the last live that said, why is it that when we think of feedback, we think of negative feedback? So I want to share a story with you. Early in my career as a training manager, I thrived on meeting one-on-one with various employees to sit, listen, observe, and support the development of those that I had the honor of supporting. I actually remember going from location to location, sitting with different folks, Y connecting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Y connects. Back in the day, you'd be able to kind of put your headset on and attach your cord to their phone and listen to the live conversations that people were having. I loved it. I was able to hear the customer on the phone and as well as hear the employee kind of talk through their support of the customer. One day, I learned the really important point about feedback. I sat with a young woman who, as soon as she was done with her phone call, took her Y-Connect cable off of her head, looked at me and said, "All right, Shanita, give it to me." And I looked at her and I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Well, you've got the negative feedback for me. Just give it to me. I can take it." And I sat there for a moment and thought, wow, I actually had a lot of great things to say to her. But in all of my visiting with her, she's gotten accustomed to every time I showed up, I gave her a negative feedback. She also said this to me, "Shanita, you know what? One day you're going to travel to our campus location. You're going to Y-Connect with me and listen to my calls. And all you're going to say is good job." Whoa, that really sat with me. She gave me feedback. She was thinking that I was only there to criticize her, not because of her own thoughts, but because of my behavior. I had never shown her anything otherwise. Every time I sat next to her, I poked and prodded at what she could do better. And why couldn't she could have said it this way, or she missed this opportunity. And that was early in my training career, and I remember holding on to that and thinking, wow, I never want to show up as someone who is simply an auditor, an evaluator, and someone who really just criticizes someone's work. So when I think about that, it makes me think of what can we do then to not focus on what people are missing, but how do we see the potential? What is potential actually? So potential is simply defined as the capacity to develop. It's about those latent qualities that often go underutilized and often overlooked. Remember when I shared with you guys Johari's window? That we have skills that are visible to the world, but we also have skills that are invisible. We have skills, talents, and gifts that are hidden within us. And oftentimes we go a lifetime never discovering them because we're only focusing on the skills that we display in public, and we focus on that negative feedback and how we can get better with the skills and gifts that people can see. But what about the skills and gifts that people can't see? What about your potential? So this made me really think, and I had to think over my life and go, wow, how did I get here? Because I didn't just get here by people telling me what I'm doing wrong. I got here because so many people saw my potential, and they not only spoke to it and called it out, but they encouraged me in that. So my question for you is, in your life, in the people around you, can you see their potential? Can you only see their mistakes? Can you only see their flaws? Can you only see the things that they get wrong? Or can you look beyond that? Can you look beyond the metaphysical? Can you look deep within the soul, the spirit, the mind, the hearts of those individuals, beyond what you see in front of you, and see that potential that's hiding deep within? You know, what makes me think about this, I think about a butterfly and, you know, the process of metamorphosis in general. I mean, if you think about a caterpillar, if you had an opportunity to have a conversation with a caterpillar and said to a caterpillar, hey, little caterpillar, did you know you have the potential? The potential to fly, the potential to travel the world, the potential to grow wings and turn into You're Beautiful Today, but you are going to develop these colorful wings that will take you different places. Imagine talking to a caterpillar and what they may think about their potential. It may, you know, I kind of laugh at myself when I think about it, and I go, wow, caterpillar probably can't even see beyond the physical, beyond what they see in the mirror. Can I get a witness? Is this resonating with anyone? Are you potentially, right? Do we all have the potential to metamorphose from a caterpillar to a butterfly? Absolutely. Absolutely. But focusing on what we don't have doesn't help us get there. We all have potential within us to evolve into something even greater than where we are today. It isn't to say that we are insufficient where we are, but it's important to note that we have the capacity. That I want you to lean into that word, capacity. We have the capacity to evolve and do some amazing things. But sometimes we miss those opportunities simply because we can't see them. So here's the thing. I want you to think about this. Here's why this human experience is so important. We need each other. We need each other to see the things that we can't see. Remember, I told you about Johari's window, that we all have blind spots. There are things that you may be able to see in me that I don't see in myself, right? And so if we're able to look at individuals and see the potential that lies within, we can help unlock and unleash a new path that they never discovered. So here's an example of how this is manifested in my own. Here's an example of how this is manifested in my own life. When I was growing up, I was an athlete. I discovered really, really early, and I think I see a fellow trackie on here, the plug, I see you. I grew up and I discovered that I was fast. And I'll tell you, I wasn't just a little fast. I was actually really, really fast. I look forward to every recess, getting on that blacktop, lining up on those yellow lines and running down the track. I remember getting so excited and feeling so full that I had discovered this talent that I didn't know I had. So guess what? I leaned into that. And when I say I leaned into it so hard that I had teachers who said, wow, I think you can go to the Olympics one day. Wow, you have the potential to carry this beyond the second grade blacktop exercise to something bigger. And when people poured into me, when my mother saw the potential, when my sister saw the potential, my teachers, at that time there were no coaches, it was just us at recess and the yard duties, I got excited. And I tried hard to get better at it. And guess what I did? I went on to win a few things and really felt really confident about how I was evolving as an athlete in track and field. But it wasn't until high school. It was high school where I felt like I knew exactly what my strengths were. I will run any relay race. Well, let me be honest. I wasn't doing anything over a 400, and honestly, a 400 was a stretch. But I was excited to participate in any sprint because I felt so confident that I discovered this potential. And quite honestly, I thought it was really the only thing I could do. I was going to run every race that was in front of me. And one day, I remember we were at College Park, Pleasant Hill, California, my coach, Robert Polis, he had needed somebody to participate in another event. Now, for those of you who don't know track and field, there's tons of events that you can do. I had only leaned into one. But this one day, he actually said to me, Shanita, I want you to try the long jump. And I looked at him kind of bewildered because I thought, there's no way I could do that. I mean, hey, coach, I'm a sprinter. I'm not a long jumper. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. He looked at me with this look in his eye that told me he saw something more than what I could see. You see, I had never tried it in my life. I wasn't sure that I'd be good at it. And he said, I want you to give it a try. I really think you'll be good at it. So with a little nudge and a little encouragement, I remember stepping on that runway for the very first time. When I stepped on that runway, no confidence, but only just the belief that, hey, my coach believes in me, so why don't I give it a shot? Long story short, at the end of the track meet, I discovered a new love, the long jump. You see, I was so focused on one skill, one thing that was visible to the public eye, that I never made space to discover new things about myself. But it wasn't until I had the nudge from someone around me, my own coach, Coach Polis, who said, I see more in you. I see something else that you can do. Now, I want you to take my story and I want you to think about how you can apply that to your life. Are you being an expert in one thing, being comfortable with just one thing, and missing out on maybe some other things that you enjoy? Do you have the potential to add to your life? It doesn't mean you have to give up, because guess what? I didn't give up running. I just added something new, something additional that I enjoyed to my life. Are there things and places in your life that you can say yes to? Because guess what? I almost said no. I'm uncomfortable. I'd be embarrassed to make a fool of myself. But because someone saw potential in me and encouraged me, I was willing to try. And guess what? That one decision on that day at College Park to try the long jump turned into a long love that earned me a scholarship to go to college, that unlocked the ability for me to be the first in my family to go to college and earn a degree, for me to unlock countless doors, all because someone unlocked the potential in me. So I want you to think about the people in your lives. I want you to think about all the people around you, your children, your spouses, your friends, your church family, maybe the teams you coach, maybe the people you support. I want you to look around because they all have potential. It's waiting to be unlocked. It's waiting to be unleashed and could potentially open some doors that change the full trajectory of their lives. So I hope today that you got a little inspiration that you have potential. You have things that you are already doing great in this world, but you also have things that you have yet to discover. Lean into that. Listen to the nudges that are around you. Thank you, Denise, for saying that. We all need that nudge. You can be the person who encourages. You don't always have to be the person who criticizes. Be the person who can see the potential, encourage them to step out and potentially unlock and unleash their own journey. So thank you guys for joining me today for Feedback Friday. I'll be back with you next week as we talk about another important concept. If you haven't had a chance and you want to get some reading in, feel free to check out my new book, Feedback Mentality, the key to unlocking and unleashing your potential. Thanks for joining me, guys. Take care.